Hello, everyone. I believe most of you have already learned that there has been a taxi driver being beaten to near death earlier this month in Shamsherpur. Rumor has told that it is because the taxi driver has driven deliberately towards the crowd and seriously hurt two protesters. And that's why the remaining protesters drawn him out and beaten him. It seems that it was a wrongdoing by the taxi driver at the very beginning, and the protesters are actually just delivering a revenge. But is this the real case? Perhaps I would like to share with you some evidence I found and let you judge whether this taxi driver is to be blamed of everything in this incident. This case has come into my attention at the very beginning when I first received this video.
係咪有司機喺裏邊啊？
打緊嗰啲司機啦！
哇！
哇！
哇！哇！哇！
打踢頭㗎，打頭㗎，踩落。
You can see that at that time the taxi driver has been beaten by all the protesters. The taxi driver was not armed, and some of the protesters are armed with a long pipe, and most of them are just kicking the taxi driver. And you may have noticed that they have been focusing on the head of the taxi driver. That means they want to kill him. What has actually happened? I have seen a video online that day.
They're breaking the taxi.
It seems that the taxi has been driving towards the crowd, and that got two people seriously wounded. That's before the taxi driver has been beaten. But it came to my attention that there has been a face at the very beginning of this video. Perhaps we can listen this again.
They're breaking the taxi.
What I can hear is that someone claimed that actually I think this is the guy who has taken this video. They are raiding the taxi. That means the taxi was in control of other people. And that really caused me having a big question mark in my head. What has actually happened before that? And finally, I'm very lucky that I finally found another video online that showed what really happened before the incident. And that revealed the truth that the taxi driver is not to be blamed. It's actually the protesters, the rioters doing this thing.
Oh!
You can see that that's from another angle, and what we have seen is that the car has been driven to the left. But I would like to recall the very beginning of this video. You can see that they are hitting the taxi, and the left front door of the taxi has been opened. In Hong Kong, because the driver's seat is on the right hand side, so left hand side is the navigator's seat. And we can see that someone has climbed onto the taxi and pulled the door closed. And then the taxi starts drifting to the left. And then the taxi crashed into the crowd. What I believe is the truth. Perhaps we see this again. hitting the taxi. Someone climbed up into the car, pulled the door closed inside the car, and then the car started to drift left. And then it crashed. So I believe the truth behind is that some rioters has climbed up onto the taxi, and he has been competing with the taxi driver for the wheel, and that's why, regardless of the very reasonable way to get away from this situation is to drive ahead instead of crashing into the wall, the taxi has crashed into the left-hand side into the wall. And I even heard an exclamation later on. Oh! Oh! After the taxi crashed, someone has cried out, "Ho!" That means good. That means they have witnessed one of them has been taking hold of the taxi and causing the taxi to crash. That's why he has shouted out this exclamation. So the entire truth of this story is that the taxi has gone into the rioters. I don't know what he has done before that, but I can see that before the incident, right before the incident, someone has climbed up onto a taxi and then the taxi has lost control and crashed into the crowd. That means it is not the taxi driver who has deliberately crashed into the crowd, but he has been beaten to near death later on. So it is actually the rioters that has caused the crash and also caused the very seriously wounded condition of the taxi driver. I hope everyone, because there is a very special time in Hong Kong indeed. I have been in this place for more than 50 years. That's the first really messy condition that I have ever faced in Hong Kong. A lot of information has been circling around online. So what I want to do is to take out the truth behind that and show you the truth so you can make a really objective judgment on what has really happened here. So get tuned, and when I found something worth to share with you, I will record another one. See you later.